Dr. Blade Nzimande says he will be meeting the South African Further Education and Training Students Association representing TVET students tomorrow. Nzimande says the planned meeting is aimed at resolving legitimate concerns raised by the student body. He held a news briefing this morning on the state of readiness for the 2017 academic year in tertiary education. Nzimande also said that the historic debt issues with the student loan scheme and NSFAS have now been addressed.
We have identified the issues they raised, and we are working tirelessly to ensure that the issues under our control are speedily being attended to. Where there is a lack of adequate budget to deal with infrastructure funding and expansion of the student enrollment, government as a whole is trying to find relief in these trying times economically.
Well, our reporter Sipho Stearman joins us now from that briefing. Sipho, good afternoon to you. So hearing from the Minister ahead of varsity students going back on the state of readiness, really a lot coming out of that briefing, but we want to know, is government ready, are universities ready, and will there be more protests?
Good afternoon to you, Natasha, and our viewers at home. And indeed, you're correct. A lot of issues were covered in this press conference. It took almost 2 hours with a wide range of subjects, which tells you, the seriousness of the stability in our institutions, and that the matter of higher education is still far from funding at higher education is still far from being resolved. And what the minister said is that institutions are, of course, ready to go ahead for the year. He emphasized that 2017 is the year that he sees as a sort of a final chapter to this fees must fall, indicating that the Fees Commission will be releasing its final report, which should then put this matter into finality. But also one of the interesting observations that the minister said, he said that our institutions of higher learning cannot afford to have any more disruptions because they are beginning to lose a bit of credibility in the eyes of foreign governments who are saying that African governments that normally would send students to South African universities are sort of now diverting their students to other institutions outside of the continent as a result of the Fees Must Fall movement. But with me here, I've got the Secretary General of the SA Union of Students, Ustembi Sondlov. There was a lot of announcement made by the minister here, particularly in terms of historic debt, saying that NSFAS students, historic debt will be taken care of, but the missing middle, not so much. They will negotiate with universities. Are you satisfied with that?
I think that you must understand that you have a position as the union that there is no student that must be turned back home on a basis of on a basis of not having money to pay for his or her fees. Therefore, all universities, I think for now, they have been able to understand that most of our students are able to register. But we want to get a thorough report from SRC President and Secretary General in our first National Executive Committee meeting, as to ensure that we do a proper analysis of what is really the big picture from the side of the student and present it properly post that National Executive Committee meeting. Because the minister can pronounce some of the things here, but in the universities, the opposite might be the one. But on campuses, it might be the opposite that is happening because of some of the vice chancellors that do not take some of the decisions that are taken here seriously.
In the conference, we asked the minister, does he anticipate another Fees Must Fall protest? Now, I put this question to you. Do you have any plans of continuing with protests, considering what you've heard from the minister today?
Well, of course, I'm not a prophet, and I have never been a prophet. I'm a student activist. So the material conditions in the ground will therefore determine or dictate what should happen as we move forward. I cannot say there won't be any protest, and I cannot say there will be protests, because I think it is wrong of the media to think that it is only fees that agitate for protest. Even in some institutions, even infrastructure, lack of security, poor student services, many things can agitate a student protest. So we must not think that there cannot be a protest because there is, even if there can be free education, for example, there will still be protests because there are many issues that needs to be resolved in the higher education sector. It is not only the issue of fees.
All right, well, there you have it. That's Tembison Lovu from the South African Union of Students, saying that at this point in time, they cannot say that students won't embark on another Fees Must Fall protest after this briefing by the minister. But of course, they do welcome the news that there will be no student that is denied access to higher education on the basis of matters such as historic debt or those who cannot afford registration fees.
Sipho, thank you very much. We'll leave it there. Sipho.